Yo, people, welcome back into the building. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. There is no lateness is greatness. I know people are starting to miss it. They're crying, whinging, whining in my DMs like, where is lateness is greatness? Where are the lives? People were running a test, and I'm liking the test so far for this show. Maybe for the other show, London, next week will be live on Wednesday. So fear not. In fact, I'll put it at the bottom of your screen just to confirm it because we have Malmo as well. For the
you know what, Matisse?
Crazy.
It serves them right because they ticked us off. They ticked us off. And that's what you get.
They hated it at first and now they miss it. Hey, you don't know what you miss until it's gone, innit?
There you go, bro. There you go.
So like Wenger at Arsenal.
Yeah, similar.
My goodness. Mizzy, bro. How are you doing? Sharp shooter. Look at the fade. Look at the haircut. Look at this. He's back in prime time. Miz. Delicious.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I'm a human being again. Yes. Enough of being an animal for the past 3 months. Lockdown's over. Haircuts galore. People just running mad to the hairdressers. It's been good. It's been good, man. And yeah, it's just been a slow week. Obviously, international. I've not really watched any of the international matches. Probably just the final of Spain and France for a little bit, bits and pieces. Didn't even bother sit down and watch the whole thing. So can't wait till league sort of kick starts again. Yeah, man, that's me.
Yeah, and Younes, bro, how are you? I mean, we are dreading the international break. It's here, and then it's come and gone, and then there's another one in November. But the mighty Chelsea are back in town. How are you feeling?
Yeah, finally, man. Finally, I'm good. Personally, I mean, international break has been dry, but it always is. Why is there another one in November? I don't know. I think if I'm not mistaken, after November, the next one is March or February. So there's a bit of a gap, which is nice. But yeah, Chelsea back in town. Bring on the Brentford. London's second strongest team at the moment. Yeah, shame on the rest of you.
Biggest London derby at the moment.
It is, yeah. And they're both in West London. How about that?
Oh my God, you man are funny. I have to say as well, when it comes to why is this up on the screen? What is this?
I was just gonna say, what is this StreamYard?
StreamYard infiltrating us.
What is this absolute monstrosity?
StreamYard has taken over.
This is disgusting. Oh,
Travesty, StreamYard.
I have to find a way to get rid
click
of
on that comment, Matisse.
What is that?
It should be in your comment section right on top. Or
okay. Get off the screen.
There we are.
I don't pay you to be there. You're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. We don't pay you to be there. We literally pay for you not to be there. Jesus Christ. Ruining all the branding. Anyway, where was I gonna go with that? We're gonna talk about Brentford, but I had just to quickly round up that Hazard stuff. Do you see what the papers do to you, people? Do you see what the papers will do to you? They will lie, they will beg, borrow, cheat, steal from you. They will take your clicks and make up false reports just for you to get gassed again on this emotional attachment that you all have to Eden Hazard, that the press know. You think that the media don't know your heartstrings, how to pull them? Eden Hazard to Chelsea, every single year since he's gone, it's a story that continues to come up, and we find out that is a load of bullshit. Again, as per usual. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the whole thing of, and I did this with Anita, I did a debate last season, the whole thing of, well, he's better than what we've got. Well, piss is better than shit, as I always say, but it doesn't mean that you should purchase the piss. How about we just go and get someone world class? Chiesa.
Yeah. Yes.
Have some of that.
It's crazy. Man. It's crazy.
Man, do you know what? I know we're going to probably only take a little bit of time with this because I'm over this whole Hazard thing, and I've seen Younes's video as well about it. I've talked about this as well, and I've seen a lot of people actually want him back, which is so strange.
It's scary.
And the only thing that I get out of it is it's sentimental. None of these, that no one truly believes that he's going to come in and just start for us automatically. I don't think Thomas Tuchel would just allow for that. Do you know what I mean? But that aside, there's a whole heap of injuries, issues. This is his third season at Real Madrid, and he's barely played enough football, keeps consistently getting injured. And I think he's injured again in this international break. So,
Is he?
I think because him and Romelu Lukaku left early and his injury wasn't minor. I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, but he left early. He didn't want to participate in that third place game. Looked like Thibaut Courtois didn't want to participate either. He had a lot of smart words to say about that. But, people talk about, how could you not take Hazard back, man? What about the nostalgia? What about the sentiments? What's football without emotions? I want to say to those people, where was Hazard's emotions when we were struck with the transfer ban and he couldn't leave quickly enough to go and pursue his dream? Do you know what I mean? So think about that for a second as well. Like you ask, you say that, we got to take Hazard back. But Hazard said it himself. It's over. He's done it. He's given everything he could for Chelsea. It's finished. And he pursued his dreams at Real Madrid. So this man does not want to come back.
A lot.
And it's okay. It's okay.
A lot of these guys, this is like you're tangling with their first love. And their first love, cheats on them, gets in an entanglement like Jada with the Will Smith. she Hazard leaves, he says goodbye, goes to greener pastures new. He decides to go to the Champions League hoarders that are Real Madrid. And he leaves, and this could be the equivalent of a woman leaving you for a rich man, and she leaves, and then she gets to that richer man, and he goes bankrupt, and suddenly she's not having a great time anymore. The relationship isn't as great. There's no love there. And she wants to come back, and now she's coming back, and you're the hoarder of the big ears trophy of the Champions League. Now you've got the money. Now you're rich. Now, me as a rich brother. Now we're rich. Now we have to take you back. Excuse me, sir. You
left me when I was in trouble.
When I was broke.
Yeah.
When I had nothing.
Literally, Chelsea had nothing. We could have done with Eden Hazard in that particular season under Frank Lampard. Do you know what I mean?
It's true,
man. The comments are going to be like, but he won us the Premier League. Shut up. Doesn't work like that. Be quiet. Stop
Shut up. That's it. I love that reply.
You can't base everything on sentiment, man. It's like, as you just said, there's some people that go, oh yeah, but what's football without the emotion and whatnot? And understandably, okay, but not in this context. What's football without the emotion in terms of fans' involvement, in terms of interaction between supporters and between club, things like that. What we see on the pitch, cool, but to involve that phrase about what's football without emotion regarding one player who left us and now apparently some of us want him back, it doesn't work like that. This whole thing, and I said it in my video. Look, people that want Eden Hazard back are the sort of people that would go back to their exes.
That's right,
and it's never a good idea. It's never a good idea. I'm not a relationship guru, but you can take the advice on this. Don't go back to your ex. Just don't do it. It's mate. Look, we've moved past. He's not the only flipping player in the world. We will get set back. What some people fail to realize is if we got Eden Hazard back, he becomes the focal point again.
Do you remember when people wanted Oscar back as well?
What exactly? You bring him back, all of a sudden you're back to the same point that you were when he was here. And then he's going to leave again. And what happens when he leaves again? You're going to have to restructure everything again. We've already done that.
It's even worse than last time because he's nowhere near as good as he was last time.
Exactly. At least if he was the same. He's not the same. He's not the same.
What's football without fitness? The brother's not fit.
That is it. Yeah, you go saying what's football without emotion? Mate, what's football without fitness? What's football without results? What's football without a good squad?
As Younes always says, and I love when he does this, you only have one prime. Yeah, 2 primes, 3 primes.
Exactly.
I'm on my 4th prime. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just
sounds like prime. Amazon.
You only get 1 prime, ladies and gentlemen. The thing that I want to ask both of you guys, if we want to quickly wrap this one up and move to the next one, but I want to ask both of you guys, have you guys ever been in a situation in life, right, where you've dreamt about a particular thing, a job or a place to be or someone you want to be with or whatever, but then you've realized, I'm content with what I got, but what I got right now, I'm happy. Yes, it was a dream. Yes, that opportunity is available. I ain't gonna let go of what I got though now because it's good. I'm happy. People love it. And I feel like Hazard had that. I know you had a dream.
Yeah,
but you had the millions crying for you. You had people begging. I was close to tears the day he announced that he was going to leave. Do you know what I mean? You had it all, my man. You could have left that everlasting legacy, but you let all that go.
The legacy
and you wanted
would have
to go
been
to
mad. Can you
his
imagine?
legacy would have been insane.
Bro,
yeah.
I think he could have got a statue, because
Yeah.
he joined us at like 21, and if he had stayed for the rest of his career and maybe left right at the end of his career, like maybe like a Lampard did, or that legacy, 10 years minimum, like 10 year plus, it would have been nuts.
Imagine him winning the Champions League under Tuchel. We were all in tears anyway, but we would have been even more in tears. With
I mean, he
him
probably
around,
wouldn't have, because the whole squad would have been restructured differently, so it would have been a different
You know what I mean?
situation.
Like,
but
yeah.
it would have been a madness.
But
It
have
worked
you guys
for us.
ever been in that sort of position where you thought, wow, that's available. I know I've always wanted it, but you're like, no, I'm okay though. I'm okay. Like, this is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true. And you know what? When you look at all of this in hindsight, Chelsea haven't lost a thing here. It's Eden Hazard that's lost out here.
He's literally left us at the perfect point for us.
Yeah, exactly. And it's worked out for us. We've moved on. We've done bits. We're champions of Europe again. Happy days. He's gone to Madrid, and he might have fulfilled his own personal dream, but it's not worked out. He's injured constantly. He's not playing enough minutes. He's not really winning anything. It's just gone left. And
that's why they feel sorry for him, and they want to bring him back and say, well,
exactly.
It's like
the thing that they feel sorry for him. I don't
they want to bring him
understand.
back home and look after him and cradle him and cuddle him and stuff. And I'm just like,
It will be all right.
If we had first choice attacking midfielders that were performing like we did when Diego Costa was up front and Drogba came in behind Remy, if we had that structure, then it's a different story. But we don't. We're looking for a starter. We're saying that our attacking midfielders are not good enough. We need someone better. Yeah. Cool, Hazard might be better, but is he going to play all the games? No, because he's going to be injured. So then we're going to be having to rotate in the players that we're saying are not good enough. So it doesn't make any sense. You need to get a starter who is fit for purpose, who can start games regularly if they're going to bench the attacking midfielders that we're so-called trying to replace. You don't buy someone for a starting role that is injury prone and then expect them. That's exactly what Man City did with Laporte. And it didn't work because he always got injured. So they had to go and get Diaz. And there's many cases of this happening. So, I mean, the only small circumstance, I mean, unless people are willing to part way with Pulisic, because I'm not dealing with two injury-prone brothers in the same position. It's not happening. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. I refuse. Unless you're getting rid of Pulisic and then you're bringing in Hazard on loan or whatever, maybe. But even still, I don't really understand. I don't really see the point. But moving on to Brentford, we're back in the big time. The Premier League is back. Thank goodness. Thank God. I can't wait. I felt like I haven't done a watch along in ages. I haven't done a watch along since Juventus because obviously I was at the Southampton game. And that Southampton game was kind of it wasn't really the norm. We scored 3 goals. And in previous fixtures before that, we had struggled massively to get more than 1 and sometimes none. So I'm not going to take that Southampton game as the norm, but it was great to see live, especially for us to get some goals. Timo Werner was brilliant. He gets 2 more goals in international break for Germany as well. Apparently very well struck goals that I've seen in the highlights as well. I think Kai scored 1 as well. But again, I don't like to read too much into internationals, good or bad, because people are going overboard with maybe Mount playing really poorly for England and charging it up with the German players. But at the same time, everyone's playing pretty shoddy opposition, and unless you're going to replicate it at the club, I'm not really bothered, to be honest. You scoring for Germany, that doesn't really. So I'm happy for you, but if you can't do it in a Chelsea shirt, then it doesn't really mean much. But Timo Werner, let's start with him. He is the one guy right now, obviously Lukaku, but outside of Lukaku, he's the one guy we're saying, you're actually all right. You're all right now. You're actually in maybe decent form.
I think he might be fixed.
Don't do this. Don't do this to me, Younes, please. Don't do this to me, Younes.
Clip this and then Timo Werner just misses.
Oh, Timo Werner
misses an open net.
Oh, so you think I'm better now, do you? Okay. And then just turns it on or turns it off again.
That's the reverse psychology. He's still rubbish. You know what? what we've seen since Southampton up until now and during the international break is a very, 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 very positive sign. Very positive. I mean, even in terms of his performance against Southampton, that was good enough. But what he done for Germany, the goals he scored against Germany, especially that one from outside the box or just on the edge, where he bent it in like it was Benzema, pretty much in the same way like Benzema done. Yeah. That's the Werner we signed. Like that's RB Leipzig, Timo Werner. And if he can just bring that forward, please, just bring it to the Brentford game. Fantastic. Like we're dying to see this Timo Werner consistently. So I'm hoping he keeps it up. Fingers crossed. But if he does, then yeah, we might just have another banging attacking option now alongside Lukaku. Fingers crossed.
I mean, they played Luxembourg, was it? That he banged in the 2 goals? Was it Luxembourg or was it Liechtenstein or?
I forgot, But yeah, you're right. I think in North Macedonia.
North Macedonia.
Was it?
Yeah.
North Macedonia.
That's the team that he had a howler against before.
Last season.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you remember that? That was a
redemption.
Yeah.
Redemption.
We did a show straight after that game here, and that was dreadful, that miss.
Do you know what, though? I'm happy he scored good goals.
Yeah.
But the defending, even Brentford, is going to be 10 times better than North Macedonia. So
I don't read into it too much. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So if you can replicate that, as Younes was saying, that's when you're going to get a tick mark. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, I mean Brentford have been all right defensively. To be fair, yeah, they have. They're currently 7th, 3 wins from 7, 3 draws, and only 1 defeat this season. The only team unbeaten is Liverpool.
Fantasy players are going mad.
Yeah. And in terms of goals conceded, they've conceded 6 goals, which is same as Liverpool, and they're second. And most teams are around that in their position. So they've been pretty good. I just think with Brentford, I'm looking at their fixtures. Obviously, 3-3 against Liverpool. The pace of Salah was causing problems, but Salah's on ridiculous form. Salah's causing everybody problems. If Werner can be like that against Brentford, because they can be a little bit open in their style. They're quite a again, any team that comes up with balls, I kind of just liken them to Blackpool. I really do. Any team that comes up with the kahunas to play outright attacking football, whether it's Leeds, whether it's Blackpool, Brentford, Sheffield United in their first season, I just say they're the Ian Holloway team.
Holloway ball.
The Holloway ball, the orange. The orange team, because they're the ones that started all this with Charlie Adam, with Fraser Campbell, players like that were just doing a madness. Brentford, they pose similar issues. When you can go to West Ham and win and draw against Liverpool, you're a pretty, formidable team to be looking out for. So I'm worried. I think this is a difficult game for us. I think this is probably the most difficult game that we've got up until the Leicester and Manchester United fixtures at the end of November. I'd say this is probably the most difficult, because us going forward is it's very unpredictable right now. I think I'm glad to see the pace is back in the team with Werner. I think one thing I would say is when you're a team that's struggling going forward, you need to get the basics back. You need movement, you need urgency, and you need constant commitment. That is what the Liverpool team always fall back on when they're not in form, which is rarely. But when they're not on form, those traits they bring to the table. They bring the commitment, they bring the movement, and they bring the urgency. They don't sluggishly pass the ball about at 1 mile per hour. They don't move like as if they're in quicksand. They move with an urgency because they understand that they're weak going forward right now. So we need to push. We need to be as forceful as possible. We need to push the agenda here. And that's what we did against Southampton. I was watching it live. It's not like as if technically we were scoring and, there was a great goal from Barkley, I think, with the pass to Aspilicueta and across for Werner. Werner obviously got a disallowed. But it's not like we was back to our brilliant best, but just the urgency of Werner and Loftus-Cheek breaking through the lines, that's what made the difference, because it's just that extra bit of pace. Someone that can carry the ball, that can run past a player like Loftus-Cheek, like a Mateo Kovacic as well, those two in the pivot. Timo Werner's constant movement just opens up more space for everybody. It was good to see, and it was a nice change. I think Brentford is probably the way to go again. I mean, Miz, how are you feeling Mason Mount in this game? Loftus-Cheek, because Loftus-Cheek's kind of been playing in the pivot. Would you keep him in as well? How do you feel about this? Obviously, he's had about 2 weeks training as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I am a bit nervous. And post internationals, I can't remember us doing really well. I know last one against Aston Villa we got a win, but the one really that sticks out for me is that West Brom last season, straight after the international, we got battered by them, and we all expected to win. Look, I expect Ruben Loftus-Cheek to start because he's in fine form. If I'm selecting the team, Rudiger, Mendy, and Lukaku are probably the first three that I've got straight away, and then after that it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek because you can't stop him now. He's on a roll, so you continue that on, and he's blockbuster at the moment in midfield. What I'm worried about Brentford is that they may look at that Aston Villa game that we played, because I remember Aston Villa did not want to combat us in the midfield. They would go long and they would want to play the game in our third and win second balls. So you got players like Ivan Toney and that Mbuemo guy.
Mbemba, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Mbuemo, one of those. They're good, those two. They work in tandem. They're tall, they're strong, they're physical. They can hold the play. They can link up together. And their midfield is quite busy, but their midfield, just like most of the midfields in the Premier League, they don't want to engage with our midfield because we are far better in terms of possession. Unless if you're a Man City or you're a Liverpool, it's different. But I feel like they may try and emulate that Aston Villa style of football. And I hope we win the second balls, which, as you said, Matisse, will open up the game. Players like Kovacic, maybe Ruben Loftus-Cheek in midfield can then spray those passes forward, and players like Lukaku and Werner can come into the frame. So I definitely expect Ruben Loftus-Cheek to start. Whether it's going to be Kante or Kovacic, I don't think Kante will start straight away. I mean, he's just come back from his illness. Yeah. So I'm expecting maybe Ruben and Kovacic to continue on the good start that they had against Southampton. So
that front two is a good point, because like you said, Watkins and Ings, they were a problem at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League game, especially in the first half. They absolutely probably were dominating, to be honest. They were better. And we really struggled to bypass that as a front two. And I think that's probably when it's most dangerous for a back three, when we're trying to play out from the back, when we're coming up against the front two who are energetic, who are in your faces, and they're coming up right against the back line. It does make it difficult for us if we're not at our press resistant best. I'd say Loftus-Cheek and Mateo Kovacic are very press resistant, so hopefully we can escape that quite well. Obviously, Christensen just qualified for the World Cup there as well. Brilliant stuff for him. He's been brilliant recently. I think I've seen somewhere in the quotes that I think Brentford managers called him one of the best defenders in the world at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Apparently had him as an under 20s in Denmark or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Thomas Franks called him one of the best defenders in the world, which is high praise. It's crazy. When I read it, I knew the information already, but just to see it written out and said by someone else in the game was lovely to see, because it's like, it just shows how far he's come as a player to be even spoken of like that. But obviously we was already saying that for with Rudiger for quite a while now. We've seen the success, but it was just nice to see it written out. I think this formation that we're coming up against, like you said, it could pose problems. I mean, Younes, bro, how are you feeling with that midfield battle? Because I look at Loftus-Cheek and Kova, and I know they played very well against Southampton, but there's no real sitter in there, in that pivot. It's quite a weird pivot. Like, I would never have seen that pivot and said to myself, without seeing them play, I would never have looked at that pivot and said, that's defensively tight, that's solid. Neither of them are sitters. Both of them like to carry the ball and move forward. They can obviously take it in turns, but there is no anchor there. Not maybe you don't need it as much in a back three, but you still would want some sort of anchor there, and they're both not. So how do you feel about that partnership going forward?
It's a weird one, but I mean, against Southampton it worked, but against Southampton you could see at times either one of them coming deep and taking that responsibility, and it was a case where they both shared it amongst themselves. So, is that a good thing going forward? Especially if we're looking against Brentford. Brentford are a bit of a brave team. Brentford don't look like they're a team that just try and sit back, and against the big teams just sit back and just hope for the best. Like, no, they play ball. They really have a go, and we saw that against Liverpool. And yes, that left them open, which is where I think we could exploit. But the thing about the game against Liverpool was Liverpool's back line were open. With Chelsea, defensively, everyone knows what we're about. We're concrete. Defensively, we're concrete. I think Brentford will probably have this game against Chelsea, and it will be their hardest game in terms of actually trying to get past a team in the league, because without a doubt, we've probably got the best defense in the league. So that's where I think it can help us. That's where I think you might have a little bit of the pressure alleviated from that midfield. So it depends on what combination we go with. I mean, yeah, we mentioned Kante, for example. He's back, and he's been back for a little while in training. And from what it looks like, he's killing it. You know, there was a couple of clips that came out from training where he saw him dribble past like Malang Sarr and a couple of others. And
yeah, I've seen that.
It's like, wow, he's looking good. He's looking good. So there's that. There's Loftus-Cheek. There's Kovacic. If we go back to what we did against Southampton, do you bring Kante in? Do you bring Jorginho in? You know, what combination do you go with? It's a really, really hard one to predict. Really, really hard one, because you can make a case for any of them now. And normally we'd only make a case for Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. But Loftus-Cheek rightfully has put himself into the conversation. And he's on form on top of that. Bloody hell, sirens going off. I'm not committing a crime. Shut up. You
haven't mentioned Saudi West. That's the crime.
They found the Algerian.
I'm in trouble, lads. No. So, you know, it's really, really difficult to predict. But there's a part of me that wants to go with the same midfield that we had against Southampton because it worked so well. But there's also a part of me that thinks, you know what, Kante's back, man. It's Kante. Throw him in. Throw him in.
Do you know what as well? I think that pairing, they probably get. I've said it on the stream yesterday. I think on Twitch. I think we've seen the statistics in terms of entry passes into Lukaku. Mount, Kova are top of that, and I think if you add Loftus-Cheek to that, I think Loftus-Cheek would soon become very high up on that list. I think Lukaku likes it when he's got players that will play it quickly to him, that don't waste time, that are not slow on the ball. Yeah. They'll dribble, maybe take out a couple players, and they'll fizz it into him, whether it's in behind or into his feet. And I'm not really surprised to see Mount, when we're talking about those characteristics, Mount and Kova at the top of those charts. They're the ones that break the lines. They're the ones that either break the lines with their dribbling like Kova does, or Mount will be on the half turn in the half space, and Mount rarely takes many touches. He likes to move the ball on quickly. It's why a lot of modern coaches like him. Will take 1-2 touches, move the ball on, get into space and get it back or whatever, make himself a threat. And that's with him not even being on form. Mount hasn't been good this season. Let me make that clear. Kova and Mount this season are polar opposites. Kova's had a great start to the season, a couple of assists, a goal. Mount has been the complete opposite. He looks like he needs time out, maybe some rest. Maybe Jorginho, you can say the same as well. He's been quite heavily taxed with Italy, so I'm getting run ragged in that Spain game. It's just almost isolated at times. So maybe those guys need a rest. I don't know, because they obviously got to the final of the European Championship. I know people say it's excuses, but they've played a lot of football, especially Mount, over the last 2 years. Jorginho, maybe you could say at the start of Lampard last season, didn't really get too much football with Kante playing in the DM. But yeah, I think Kova and Loftus-Cheek and, add Werner, hopefully, with the movement. That's probably how you get the best out of Lukaku right now. Those are the guys that seem to be near his wavelength. So I would love to see the pivot. I do worry long-term about, I think, obviously, there's going to have to be some rotation there. Kante will come in at some point. Jorginho will come in, because I don't see a real sitter there. And I do worry about Brentford. They are very attacking in that system. They do love to get forward and get numbers in the box. So we do have to be wary of that. But if they can stay switched on, then hopefully it works. But I will maintain that there is an imbalance in our midfield still. There isn't, unless Loftus-Cheek is going to become more and more defensive, which is, he has the frame to do it. So I wouldn't, rule it out. He played pivot in the academy. I would have definitely taken him in the pivot over Mason Mount, which was a lot of people's shouts to have Mason Mount move back into the pivot. I don't like Mason Mount in the pivot at all. I don't think he's that type of player right now. Maybe in the future as he develops and maybe fills out or whatnot, but right now I don't see that. But Loftus-Cheek, with the height, with the strength, press resistant, back to the play, he can play that role, or in the three. So if he keeps getting, I'm sure maybe Tuchel might be coaching him defensively. Who knows? They've had 2 weeks together in the preseason. Not in the preseason. 2 weeks together in the international break. Maybe he's been, coaching him more defensively as well to make him more of that pivot type player next to a Kova. We don't know. So it should be interesting. I mean, Alonso, Chilwell. Where did we leave this one off last time? Everybody kind of wanted to see Chilwell back in the team, I'm guessing, didn't they?
It's got to be Chilwell, man.
Got to be Chilwell.
Yeah.
No, Alonso all day long. I'm kidding.
I mean, look, the game is about. Look, this is no disrespect to Alonso. Alonso has done really well.
Yeah.
But the game is about speed. The game is, as you said, Matisse, it's one, two touches. Boom, boom, boom. Just get the ball out of the way. Keep it moving. Don't let the opposition relax. Don't let them settle down and be so structured in their defensive form. Got to move things on. And right now, I feel like the urgency, you're going to get that from Chilwell. The only thing I'm worried about with Chilwell, he got away with that Southampton with that goal.
Really did. It was
Before
awful
that-
penalty to concede.
Before
Really
that, I don't think he was a very good player. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
really
the way
poor,
that-
really poor penalty to concede.
I mean, you were at the
That-
game,
yeah.
Matisse.
Terrible.
So
yeah,
you
it
would
was
have
shocking. I was right in front of it. Livermore was there dancing in front of him,
Oh.
pulling him left, pulling him right, dragging him
that
left, dragging
tackle
him
on
right.
Livermore.
You
It
just
was-
don't. The thing is, if you know Livermore, you don't dive in. That's the first thing you don't do.
Yeah.
That brother will leave you for dead. No problem. He is a wing back. I keep saying this. He might be built to be playing at right back, which is in the Premier League because he's quite physically tall. You know, for his age, he looks like a man. He's not a child. Clearly, this brother's fully built. But he is a wing back. So when he goes forward, he will go 1v1. This is the difference between a right back who's converting into a right wing back, who doesn't have to go 1v1 that often because they're usually overlapping into space and the wingers taking the majority of the attention, to a right wing back who has to patrol the whole wing and usually does have to go 1v1 because the wingers are tucked in. And that's what Livramento is used to doing. And we don't have that in the squad. And speaking of that, actually, it's a great pivot to the fact that Azpilicueta obviously has played both the Spain games, I believe. James is only just come back from an injury. Is he ready to start? We don't know. I mean, obviously, we'll get it confirmed in the press conference. Hopefully, he is. Because I don't want to see Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. I want to see Hudson-Odoi getting another opportunity to start on that left-hand side. He didn't go to the under-21s. He's been training with Loftus-Cheek and the rest of them with Tuchel this whole international break. Mount is not playing well. So go with Hudson-Odoi at the left. Timo Werner on the right. I thought Timo Werner was really good on the right.
Bro, same lineup as
Lukaku
Southampton.
up front. Yeah. And if they have to interchange, let them interchange Timo Werner and Hudson-Odoi. If Timo Werner's feeling an instinctive strike from the left wing, curling into the far corner, I've got no problem with that. But I haven't seen it in a Chelsea shirt. I'm not going to say because it happened against North Macedonia or whoever it was against that it's going to happen now in the Premier League. But I want to see Hudson-Odoi get a second start at left wing. I'm not saying he was brilliant. I thought he was all right. It was decent first start for him at left wing. Let's give him the same amount of consistent game time that Kai has got in the attacking midfield positions. Ziyech has got. If he gets 2, 3, 4 games and he's still poor, take him out, no problem. But it's not like anybody else has been on form over there. Mount has not really started the season very well. He wasn't very good for England. People wanted to single him out. The whole England team was shit, but he was also not very good either. I mean, Younes, how do you feel about all that?
Oh, yeah, England are poor.
I don't watch England. I make it my mission. I make it my mission not to watch England.
Mate, that game was dreadful. But yeah, no, you know what? I agree with pretty much everything you said. With the whole Alonso Chilwell thing, yeah, Chilwell's definitely more well-rounded, and I think for a game like Brentford, you know, this sort of game against Brentford, it's I don't feel like it's that typical Premier League fixture. You know, it's a very. It feels well. I mean, they got promoted and whatnot, but it still feels like a very cagey, typical English Championship sort of fixture. You know, you're going to somewhere where it's a little rowdy, where it's a little intense, and I think it's going to be very, very, very physical. A lot of running, a lot of intensity, a lot of urgency. You know, I think Brentford and those teams that come up, sometimes when they come up, they get promoted. They come with they come with the basics, but they come with the basics completely fulfilled. You know, much like Leeds did when they came up. It's all about the physical nature. It's all about leaving everything on the pitch. It's all about, you know, being there for your teammates. The basics. You get to the top end of the Premier League and it gets very tactical and it gets very, you know, strategic and all that. But teams that come from the Championship, it's like, you know, facing, you know, just sometimes it's like facing Spartans. You know, it's like you're coming up against 300. It's just war mentality. So you got to have that in your squad. And I feel like when it comes to Chilwell and Alonso, Chilwell's probably the one that's more well-rounded in terms of that. So I would play him, but I hope he doesn't mess up like he did against Southampton, because that was a very, very, very naive penalty to give away. especially someone going on your outside, you can literally just jockey. You don't need to throw a leg in, and he just decided to throw a leg in. But yeah, Mason Mount's off form. Even for England, it's a tough one because I think Mason Mount against Brentford, I think it will suit him. As I just mentioned, all of those all those factors that you got to take into play. I think that's Mason Mount's game. But there's the question mark. Is he on form? Because we need to create chances. We need to be able to get goals and put the ball in the net and really work Brentford's back line. So it's a tough one. The selection is going to be really, really, really tough. And I feel for Thomas Tuchel for that. To be honest, I'm still not decided in terms of what we should actually do.
Yeah. And you know what? I like it this way, that these players, there's no freebies. I don't want to see any freebies this season. Yeah. No freebies. If anything, probably Lukaku is the only one that gets away with freebies. And that's fine because he's probably the only clinical striker that we have up front. And I'm okay with that for him getting freebies. Any other player does not deserve a single freebie in this Chelsea squad. And mark my words, if they're not performing, fans are watching. They're seeing what's going on. And we will be talking at the end of the season who needs to go and who needs to stay. Whether the club looks at all of that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure some of these admins and the club sort of marketing team, they do sort of ponder around.
We are the most ruthless fan base by far.
They look around what the Chelsea fan base is talking about. And then, just
the fact that we're even talking like this, top of the league, but it's because, again, we already know what it is with this team, even though we're top of the league. I said it before the international break. Just because we're top of the league does not mean there's not 101 places we can improve. And I made the mistake of last season with wins against Leeds at home, etc., etc. I think we were top of the league or around top near the end of November. And instead of making sure that I stayed calm and balanced to say, all right, cool, this is going well, but there's clear and obvious signs that need to improve here, here, and here, I got carried away. I thought we were going to win the quadruple. And then next thing you know, in January, I'm in tears and I'm wondering, do I even want to follow this sport anymore? Do I take up golf? Do I take up tennis? Do I take up badminton? That level of, high to low, you're never going to experience that on this channel again. Because I'm not going to be so foolish as to get myself wrapped up in. When I can see this team is clearly not creating clear-cut quality chances game in, game out, like a Manchester City do, then that area of the pitch is going to continue to be a cause for concern, whether we're top of the league or not. We have got to improve that. It's not sustainable to continue to have to keep clean sheets or just concede. I mean, we've conceded the odd goal against Manchester City and Juventus, and we've lost. We shouldn't concede one goal and lose a game. We shouldn't have to rely upon clean sheets to take points. We should be able to concede a goal and come from behind and win, or come from behind and get a result. That one goal should not be the end of the world. Right now, if Chelsea concede, take the outlier of the Southampton game aside. Right now, if Chelsea concede, we're all shitting ourselves on our watch-alongs thinking, we've lost. That is not, and if we've scored, we've won. That's not sustainable. It needs to be better than that. So it's great to be top, but you don't win anything in October. So
especially the Brentford game, this Brentford game coming up, because there's one extra factor here that we got to take into context. And I hope that Tuchel and the team, I'm sure they do, but I hope they carry that in their heads throughout the game, because it's a factor that can affect the result. And they kind of need to make sure that it doesn't affect the result. No matter what, we're getting the win. And that's the fact that Anthony Taylor's the referee again.
I knew you were going to bring it up, so I was like, let me leave it to the last part of the show.
Give it to us. I mean, what all this talk that we've been doing, it's just
it becomes void. It becomes void.
Everything we've spoken about is now pointless because this man is going to ruin everything. This
is the thing. Chelsea now need to, like, in the dressing room before the game, need to make sure they're in a mentality where they go and get this result without any influence of a referee whatsoever. Like, we got to make sure we score goals and win this game without the referee having any excuse or any reason to hinder whatever chance we create or hinder a goal that we score or, bring up anything. We got to just make sure we're clinical as hell. Because if not, I'm suspect about this referee. And what baffles me, this is the point I want to make about this whole thing with Anthony Taylor. When was the Liverpool game?
Liverpool game was
A couple of months ago.
Maybe just under a couple of months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's say about 6 weeks, 6 weeks ago.
Yep.
maybe so.
Or so?
Yeah.
In the space of that time, right? Chelsea fans immediately after that game come out on social media on all sorts of videos and content and whatnot. There was a petition signed by thousands of Chelsea fans. The FA, the Premier League, got tagged in I don't know how many mentions. It was even articles written about it that fans were demanding we do not want to see or have any referee. We don't want to see Anthony Taylor ref a Chelsea game again. Don't do it. In the space of a few weeks, the Premier League are like, yep. Brentford, Chelsea, Anthony, it's yours.
80,000 signatures, all for nothing.
For nothing. So it goes to show you, the FA, the Premier League, they don't give a pence. They do not care one bit. They'll do what they do. Simple. We got to make sure we get this result no matter what, without, with or without the referee. It's as simple as that.
There's threads on Anthony Taylor's sort of bad decisions against Chelsea. I'm talking about long ass threads.
Scandalous. Yeah.
You know what I mean? This man,
We call it poetry.
this man, I kid you not, will try to sabotage that game.
100%.
No, he will. I think he will try because he sees what's happened in social media post the Liverpool game and whatnot, and he's probably going to think, "Oh, Brentford, you're going to win this."
And it's at Brentford.
You know
It's at Brentford. It's Brentford are at home, and don't get it twisted. Yes, they've got a small capacity, but it's a small stadium. It's very compact. It's very loud, and the Brentford fans are excited as hell. They're super loud. They never shut up. The atmosphere there is crazy. One little bad decision or one little decision, if the fans go mental, that's going to influence Anthony Taylor instantly. You just know he's not strong-headed.
He's going to give a penalty.
I wouldn't put it past, and we'll see what happens. We'll come out the other end and we'll remember what we've spoken about. If it does happen, which I think it will happen, I think there'll be something will happen against Chelsea. Something will happen. Now we just got to make sure it doesn't affect our win, hopefully.
Yeah.
When Anthony Taylor's on the pitch, we have to try 10 times harder to win the match. So that's why you need your road runners. This is a road runner game. This is not going to be a silky win. It's not going to be Palace. It's not going to be 4-0. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a long day. I've predicted 2-1 on the Big Six to keep it nice and keep back in the team, but I'm really not confident at all. And half of that is because Brentford are a very good team, and I've got a lot of respect for what Brentford have done this season. 7th place in the league, 1 defeat in 7 games. That is not something to be, pushing to the side and undermining. And then the other half is the fact that Anthony Taylor's on the pitch and our record with him in charge is bad. And it's not, it's at this point now where he is a factor. Like, it's not where you can just say, oh, well, you just control you just, make sure you got your shit under control and it's fine. Anthony Taylor is now a factor. If you look at the statistics, you look at, what's happened previously, he becomes a factor now. He is something that we have to take into consideration. So no stupid challenges in the box.
Yeah.
Like nothing. I'm talking stand up. All challenges we need to be standing up. Any diving in for anything, it's a wrap. He's going to give the penalty. And we just need to make sure we try and control this game. If we have possession, we can't commit fouls. We can't get people sent off. Yeah. That's how I see it. We need to control possession here. Let Brentford run around, get ragged. If they want to press, tire them out. And then hopefully we can take control in the latter part of the game. But yeah, man, it's gonna be. I can tell already. It's gonna be a long day. Rudiger's. I fear for Rudiger because I feel like he's gone so long on an edge, on a very tight rope with his aggression on the pitch. Yeah. And this is the type of game Rudiger will get sent off in.
Exactly. That.
By the way, he could be injured. He didn't play for Germany the second game, complaining about some back issues and whatnot. So,
yeah, I saw on the fantasy team, that Rudiger is a yellow now. So he's definitely picked something up.
Malong Sarr to start.
Malong Sarr.
Oh god.
No, you're not gonna get an ounce of negativity from me. Start Malong Sarr.
I would have started Malong Sarr anyway. Who's
if the chat were here right now, oh my god.
Oh my god.
The Sarr
here when it premieres.
I had Malong Sarr starting before Rudiger. I would not take this. Malong Sarr was starting for me anyway. Live chat, be nice to me.
Give Saar a statue now, Chelsea.
Oh, do you know what? Before we go, there's something else I didn't get to speak to you guys about. We did speak about it just before we came on air, but the Ballon d'Or nominees, cool. Mason Mount, Jorginho, Azpilicueta, Kante, Lukaku, fantastic. Lukaku definitely deserves to be there as well with that MVP season for Inter Milan. Jorginho, obviously, and whatnot. Where the fuck was Mendy?
Well, it's Rudiger as well. Like,
Yeah,
what's going
I
on?
was very surprised with the Rudiger.
Yeah.
Both of them. Mendy, Rudiger, bro.
Some of the names there.
Sterling was there, bro.
Sterling was there. Foden. Come on, Foden. Really?
Foden had a shocking Euros.
Do you know what I mean? Like a few other players.
Ruben Diaz was there, wasn't he?
And
Yeah.
his Euros was pathetic.
Yeah, but
as well for Portugal.
I can make peace with that because he won UEFA
Yeah.
Defender.
Oh
of
no,
the Year
absolutely. He
Man
deserves.
City.
He deserves. I reckon he deserves.
but
to
you're
be
saying
listed.
well, how
But
is he
if
there?
he
and Rudiger's
deserves
not
to be
Yeah.
listed, Rudiger, mate.
Yeah, because
in
Rudiger had
Rudiger
a,
and Mendy.
yeah,
And
How
Mendy.
they
yeah,
not?
Rudiger
Yeah.
and Mendy.
Yeah. Donnarumma got it. Mendy didn't.
That
Yeah.
baffles me to this day. I don't know. I don't understand
And
how
that-
the goalkeeper of the year in UEFA is not in that.
AC Milan defender Simon Kjær, Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark.
Defender.
Simon Kjær.
I don't know. much
Simon
about
Kjær
him.
is sympathetic. It's what we was talking about earlier on with
Is it
Hazard.
Younes? Is it the sympathy?
I think it's
Was
sympathy.
Christensen on that list?
No.
No.
Don't piss me off.
No.
Do you know why? Because all these guys, we can say, okay, you had a good club season, but you didn't have a great Euros. You had a good Euros, you didn't have a club season. Christensen had both. Where is Christensen?
Great
Hold on,
Euros.
you're taking the piss.
Great
There's no way
league.
Christensen wasn't on this list.
Younes,
no
you could
way.
be onto something with that Simon Kjær with the sympathy because I didn't want to say it. I don't want to be the bad guy in social media.
I'll take it.
Where is Christensen?
I did think about that. I was like, is it because of what you did for
Yeah.
Ericsson?
Yeah.
Like,
Christensen
100%.
wasn't on the list. You're lying.
boys, you know, I know this could be
You're
a bigger
lying,
debate, and I
bro.
know we're running out of time. What is the criteria of selecting Ballon d'Or winners? What is the criteria?
It's just the nominees. It's just the top 30, though.
No, the top 30 though I think is selected by I'm not sure if it's a certain amount of like journalists or something.
Oh my God,
If
Christensen.
I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
if you know in the chat in the comments, please let us know.
Because
but
honestly,
I think
it just
I read
annoys me
somewhere.
because I've seen so much hate on Jorginho. Like he shouldn't even be considered. I mean, if you're just looking at goals and assists, then why even nominate any midfielders and defenders? Just have the strikers. Just have the flair players. If that's what you're going to do. Jorginho, like Matisse put out a fantastic tweet the other day. There's stats that some of these brothers don't even know even existed, but they're so important in the game. People talk about how does he impact. Look at what Sarri said recently. Jorginho is a refined player. Nothing in your eyes will look spectacular, but he's that important in the game. He's that important in the game. Only the teams know how important he is. You look at, was it James Maddison last season, Younes and Matisse, where he said, who's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League?
Yeah.
And first name that popped out in his head.
I feel like
was
if
Jorginho.
and I love Kante, right? So this is not any slight on Kante, but I feel like if Kante had this exact statistic line that I put up with Kante, tackles and interceptions, why are people pretending like that's not important?
No, it's not important. It's not goals and assists.
We literally love Kante for these reasons. Why is it when Jorginho does that, it's not important? Why is interceptions not important? Why is tackles not important? Why is ball recoveries not important? Why is successful passes not important? Why is distance covered? Covered. We literally laud Kante for covering the distance of two brothers. Well, how comes when Jorginho covers the second most amount of distance in the Champions League for statistically, and then you've got the Euros, he's the first? Why is that not important?
There's no consistency, man. There's no consistency, and yeah, you know, when it comes to fans, there's some favoritism, of course. But yeah, these things in terms of a footballing perspective, you got to take it all into context, man. It is what it is. Positions are different. You can't be comparing goals and assists with Jorginho compared to Lewandowski or someone. Like you can't. They're completely different positions. Jorginho within his role is doing everything that his role demands of him. That means you deserve to be on the list.
One of the
It's a
best
role.
in that role.
Yeah, you know, it's like anyone at their job. You know, you're employed to do a certain job, a certain role. You're not expected to carry out the chief executive's duties. You're not CEO. You know, like you're doing what you are employed to do. Now, if you do that to the best of your ability, you're doing your job. Jorginho does his job. It's simple. Much like the others do their job. People just go, oh, he's a footballer. How many goals and assists? You know, it's like when KSI, when he jokes, he goes, tell me your monthly listeners. You know, like, it's...
and you know what, Younes? He's one of the only ones, Champions League, Euros, European Player of the Year, Super Cup.
Yep.
Tell me who the other players that has these sort of achievements. Tell me who
in the same season. Yeah,
in the same season. I know there are other shouts, man. I get that Messi with Copa America and whatnot, and for a poor Barcelona team, Lewandowski obviously, but don't disrespect what Jorginho's. That's what annoys me, man. People coming out writing notepads and writing down notes on Jorginho. My boy Elias actually did that. Do you know what I mean?
I was about to say, that's your boy.
Yeah, I mean, that's my boy Elias. I didn't go at him, but do you know what I mean? Like, I saw him taking notes and going off at Jorginho. Like, I saw Matisse and Toby, and Toby was totally disrespecting anything that Jorginho was doing. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, don't disrespect it. You can have your preference that it should be Lewandowski or it should be Lionel Messi, but don't be like Jorginho. No,
that's the thing.
Hell yeah, Jorginho. Hell yeah.
Like, yeah. I think that some people, and this even relates to some Chelsea fans, to be honest, I think they already have it in their head from the get-go. We're talking ages ago, from when Jorginho first rocked up.
Yeah.
He's shit. He's not good.
It's that residual value, isn't it?
And yeah, every time he has a bad game, it's like, see, told you, he's pants. And then he has a good game, and they're silent. They'll just be waiting. 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. All right, has a bad game. He's had a bad game. See, he's pants. And it's just, you're not changing that mentality. And that's a bad mentality to have, if I'm honest, man. I'd be honest, when he first rocked up on the Sarri, I didn't like how he was playing. I was a bit on the fence going, is this guy, I can see what's trying to be done, but it's not working. It's not working. And I didn't like the way that he was playing. And I had it in my head. Is he good enough? Is he good enough? I'd be crazy if I look now and go, no, he's pants. He's not.
Jorginho and
he's
Kovacic,
not. He's quality.
Jorginho and Kovacic have been more consistent than a lot of our favorite attacking midfielders that we like to rep on social media.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. They just have. They've been more consistent than Pulisic, than Kai, than Ziyech, than Hudson-Odoi. They've been more consistent than all of these guys.
Yeah.
All of these guys that we like to rep. But because they're silky attacking midfielders who do skills and shit, we love it. We anytime they have a world beating game, or shit, the stars have aligned. Ballon d'Or contenders, that we love it because it's more entertaining for us to see forward players doing well than it is for midfielders to just do their job. This is why Mikel was so disrespected back in the day. And he's not the same type of player, but Mikel just did his job. Passed it sideways, got the ball back, won his physical duels, was press resistant and kept it moving. This is why he was so disrespected, because he didn't score bangers from 30 yards. He didn't give you mind-blowing assists. So I think we're in an era that when an attacking player who's inconsistent drops a banger of a game, like against Palace, like Pulisic has done and others have done, when they have great performances, maybe 2 or 3 out of 10, we want to praise that a lot more because it's the attacking, it's what we want to see. But when the midfielders are dropping 7 games out of 10 good performances, and then 3 of them there's some clangers in there, it's not as easy to keep the same consistent prop for, because it's not, they're doing the boring stuff anyway. So why when they're doing it, when they're not doing the boring stuff well, we're gonna get onto them even more. I just think I don't know. I just think it's a little bit tapped in the head.
I just want to say one thing, right? In this particular situation, who do you guys say? And this is for the people that are going to watch later on as well. Who was probably your best pivot last season? Many would say Jorginho and Kante.
Yeah,
that was one of the most electric double pivot that we had right at the end of the season.
Yeah,
and just ask yourself, why did that work? And they both work in tandem. Kante could not have done what he did hadn't it been Jorginho next to him. And similarly, Jorginho couldn't have done what he did hadn't it been Kante. So that's just the double pivot. Look at the back three. Look at our build-up. Look at how often these centre-backs rely on passing it to Jorginho to release that stress from the pressure, from that press that they get from the opposition.
People only appreciate it, bro, when there's turnovers in the team.
That's it.
When there's turnovers and we don't build up from the back properly, like we have been doing, because people just take it for granted that we build up from the back so well. When there's turnovers and we start conceding goals from build-up play, then they'll start to appreciate it. But right now, we just build up the play. We bring it out from the back. There's no problems. There's no stress. Mendy's great with his feet. Jorginho's press resistant. Kova's press resistant. Loftus-Cheek's press. People don't understand or want to give credit for how difficult build-up play is. Build-up play is so difficult, especially in the modern game where teams are pressing, like Liverpool. Look at that Liverpool game. Before the goal was conceded, you know, they had a couple chances, but we're pretty press resistant people. We can't play out we can't play with possession and play out from the back without being press resistant. In tight spaces, with your back to the play, you've got people behind you, you've got angles to assess, people to look out for, and to keep the ball. It's not easy. At that level, at that speed, it's not easy. And if you take those players out of it and you put in Granit Xhaka's, you saw what happened. There was a goal conceded for Arsenal last season from the very same scenario. You take out these top players in these positions and put in just very good players and watch the drop off. Just watch how we play out from the back. You'll see
conceding left, right, and center, bro.
We would be conceding left, right, center, up, down, and around everywhere. It would be mad.
I mean, look, I know we've spoken a bit about this now, but it's just no, and I know people can say, "Oh, but you guys are Chelsea fans. That's what you guys are talking about Jorginho." Like, no, just from a footballing perspective, if you don't understand what he does, then I'm sorry, you're not watching football the right way. You're really not, or you're just watching it only in one particular style, which is counter-attacking football, direct football. There are other styles. There are many styles. And one of our styles that we try and play right now is possession-based, building from the back. And building from the back, it doesn't mean that, we're getting pressed by the opposition, let's just bomb it up. No, building from the back means you build from the back even if it's Man City, because that's your philosophy.
Yeah.
There's people that will think that you can take Jorginho out of this team and put in Didi and it works the same. You are dead wrong. Again, I don't understand how there's still question marks around a player that's being put in the middle of midfield in a Champions League winning team, played basically every minute, then taken out of that midfield, out of the Kante partnership, supposedly the person that's carrying him, put into another midfield in Italy in a different formation, in a different system, and won the European Championship. And you're still questioning this one constant in between the two teams and Emerson. you're still questioning it. You're still questioning it. How?
And you know what, Matisse, you know what? These Italians, they must be stupid, right? Like people like Mancini, Conte, Sacchi, they're dumb. What do they know? What do they know? I mean, the English fans out there, you know, they
so
know
many
everything.
tweets saying,
with all the trophies that England's won, right? With all the defensive midfielders that they've had.
With all of the fantastic defensive midfielders that England have produced. Who are
what
we
does
to?
Italy know?
Yeah,
Who
are we to question Jorginho with all of the incredible defensive midfielders that we've produced over the years?
When Mancini's saying he should be winning the Ballon d'Or, or when XYZ managers are saying he should be, who are they, Bar? Who are they? Do you know what I mean? That's just Italian roots.
I'm not even saying he should be the favorite, because Lewandowski had a great year. He broke Muller's record. I'd say Lewandowski for me is probably the favorite. I'm just saying if Jorginho wins it, it's not a crisis. It's not a death of football. That's where people get over dramatic for me. Maybe they don't watch him as often as we do, which is most likely, which is fair enough. But I think this brother's just been disrespected so much. And again, you've seen it on this channel. I've done it many a time. I haven't brought his name up. Gab Marcotti has come out here, defended him. And you can say, oh, well, he loves Italian football. Okay, cool. What about Pat Nevin? The Scottish winger, former Chelsea player, comes out randomly, just defends Jorginho on this channel. I didn't bring Jorginho up. He wanted to defend him. I've got clips from both of them. Neither time did I prompt them. They had something. They wanted to say something on him because they're sick and tired of the disrespect. I think players that are very technical tend to probably appreciate him a lot more. But yeah, it's a long day in this fight. I mean, if
You
anything,
know-
I'm done.
You know what it is? You make a good point, by the way, just on a side note, about the amount of defensive midfielders England have produced. That's actually a really good point. I'm trying to think, and I can't
Owen
think.
Hargreaves, maybe.
Owen Hargreaves. No, but you know,
Harry Winks had a really good game against Spain that one time.
oh my god. With Jorginho, yeah, what I would advise for those people that are a little bit skeptical on him, and I appreciate that you can probably do this at a game better than you can watching on TV. But even watching on TV, you can still do this to about maybe 80-90% capacity, right? You might have to sacrifice watching the actual game.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on Jorginho for 90 minutes. Just when you're watching Chelsea, forget the rest. Just watch Jorginho and just pay attention to what he's doing. Pay attention to what he's instructing. Pay attention to his off-the-ball movement. Pay attention to his positioning, what he's doing on the ball. Before he receives the ball, look at who he's looking at. Look at how he defends. Who is he marking? All of those little questions, just look at Jorginho for 90 minutes. Yes, you'll sacrifice watching the game. Understandably, but
Honest,
you will get a good understanding.
You get to see the whole game.
Literally, but you will get a good understanding because when people watch football, they're always watching the ball. It's a commentary. You're watching the ball. You're looking at where it's going. You're looking at who's up there, who's he going to go forward to. But just look at Jorginho and you'll understand, or hopefully you'll understand. Hopefully he doesn't have a bad game when you do this, but you'll understand what he's about.
He does have bad games. He does have bad games.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, I'd advise that. Man. Watch him for 90 minutes and you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. For me, it's a long fight. It's been a long fight, and it's not even a fight I'm even going to continue, because I just think it's very clear to me now that we've convinced everyone that needed to be convinced, and everybody else is just like they're fighting it on purpose at this point. And it's like, whatever, cool. I'm just saying there's a constant here, and probably should look into it as to why two teams have won their trophies, their major trophies, and to think that you can just sub him out because he's just any old other player. It's fine. He's a specialist.
I hope he wins it, Matisse. I hope he wins it. I swear to God, I hope he wins it. I swear we're going to have a emergency live. We're going to have an emergency live.
Oh, yeah, we will. Oh, yeah.
I so want him to win.
Oh, yeah.
When is it announced?
We're going to have an emergency live. Tapping Tobes is going to come on here.
Yeah.
Guys is going to come on here.
Let's do it.
We're going to have a whole thing. It's going to be brilliant.
Lads, shades on. Yeah. Look the part. Got to bring that Italian swagger and we'll go in. When is it announced?
Late November, I think.
All right, cool.
So he needs to keep performing well as well towards that point.
I will not listen to anyone on that day. I will just keep showing Jorginho's picture with the Ballon d'Or. That's it.
Oh, man. If he actually wins it, can you imagine the fucking tears?
It
will be incredible.
He'd be the first Chelsea player to win it, I think.
Oh, yeah. Lampard came second, I think.
Yeah, Lampard came second.
One of the most decorated players in terms of achievements in the last 12 months.
Oh, clear in that regard. Yeah, clear.
So,
because he's in the UEFA Team of the Year, Champions League Team of the Year. Individual accolades there coming as well with the player of the player of the year from UEFA. Super Cup, Champions League.
The lot.
He's done them. Funny thing is that he didn't have too many trophies won before this year, and then bang, clean sweep. I'm happy for him because he's a nice guy as well. He's a nice guy. He's professional, great leadership. So yeah, I'm happy for him. But we're gonna wrap it up there, people. I think we've addressed everything that we wanted to address today, isn't we? We actually started this show thinking, what are we going to talk about? We've had
I was about to say.
I was about to say that.
For an international break, we smashed it.
Yeah.
Us three, we could just talk about anything, man. Honestly.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Did you guys finish watching Squid Game, Miz? Did you finish watching Squid Game?
Do you know what? I know Younes wanted us to.
I did
message him. Oh, you did?
I finished it that day.
I finished it that night as well. I finished it that night, but I didn't message Younes because Younes sold me the biggest finale, and honestly, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed. And that's why I said, you know what?
Really?
Younes, I'm not gonna message you. I am not gonna message you.
Hang on. Hang on. Have you finished it?
You finished it. The old man coming back, and he wasn't.
Yeah,
dead.
the old man coming back.
Bro, he wasn't even.
Was your jaw not on the floor?
Not really. I mean,
Bro, did you think he was dead? I thought he was dead. But then when I go back and watch it, everybody that analysed it, they say if you watch closely, you'll never
realise he's not.
Yeah, you'll never actually see him drop to the floor. The
Well,
gunshot
goes,
goes
Yeah,
off.
he's the only
designed the whole
one.
game.
Yeah.
I get that. The whole twist, I get that. But for me, when I saw that, so many questions rushed to me that, old man, why'd you start this program? Like, what was the whole ideology behind it? Why did you participate in the game? Then why did you all of a sudden a year later call this brother back and then you're dying anyway? What was the whole point of this?
I get it, because he was bored and he was dying anyway, so you may as well have a big death game.
Do you know what I liked a lot better right at the end? It felt like a Bourne Supremacy kind of feeling that, Jason Bourne, Matt Damon style, like where the brother's going to now chase them. He's going to start finding them. It's like the agency rogue.
I was looking at that going, mate, go on the plane, go and see your daughter, fam.
No, but they say that him getting on the plane apparently is taking him to another location where the game begins again. Apparently. That's when they dissected it, they said there's different ones for each continent, and the plane is taking him to another game. So that's why he walked off the plane. That's what some people are saying. I don't know.
Do you know what twist that I did like though? And I didn't probably see this coming, is that police officer's brother was the front man.
Was the front man.
I was like, ooh, okay, all right. I like this one now. Because he kept on saying, come along with me. You're safe. You come along with me. Yeah. And obviously he didn't. And then he took his mask off and that's your brother. Oh my days. I want to know about that. How did he get into this, becoming the front man? And who's now running the show now that the old guy's dead?
But he was an ex-player, wasn't he? Because he was on file.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
He was number one.
Now he's the front man.
Yeah,
now he's the front man. So
but I should have noticed that.
Are there promotions?
He was number one.
Maybe there is.
It was weird that the last player and the first player met each other on the first scene. That should have been alarm bells ringing. Now that I look back on it, like that was a bit weird. But I have to ask, who was the most difficult death for you guys to watch? Because for me, it was the girl at the end where the three of them sit around the table, and then she ends up dying because of the wound, and then the guy actually ends up killing her as well, probably making her death a lot faster. Because I remember that she had a little brother that she was meant to come home to. That's why that death for me was the hardest death, because I thought she was quite a cool character. She was starting to grow on me, and then she dies. But I kind of knew she was going to die because it was always going to be a battle of those two family members.
Ali was tough,
Ali Abdul, bro. Ali Abdul.
Yes,
Ali Abdul.
Yes.
That
man,
guy
Ali
did
Abdul.
a dirty on Ali.
That was a dirty
naive bastard.
Nah, man, Younes, he looked at him like his boss. Do you know what I mean? Like he gave him the money.
And then he just opens the bag and it's just pebbles. Oh my God.
Pebbles.
Wasn't he the guy who gave him the money to travel with the bus because he didn't have the money? So he believed him. He goes, "We're gonna both get together out of here."
He got conned nicely.
Yeah, they had like a whole bond, didn't they? They had like a whole bond. Yeah.
Ali Abdul got done. That's a lesson to everyone. Don't be too naive in life.
But you know which death was so? I know it sounds so sadistic to say this. Look, guys, I'm not crazy, but one death felt so mad.
Oh, the two of them going together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I hated both of them. The woman was a crackhead. I couldn't stand her. She was too loud, and the guy was a bully. So I love
the twist
brilliant.
part.
I'm glad they both died together.
He thought, "Come along, go. You go first. You go." And then she goes,
"But you know what? As soon as that scene started, I knew she was gonna kill him. I knew it. I was like, how could you be so? He didn't really have a choice. He was either gonna stand there or he had to trust her, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the fact that he was the victim, and he after all this strength that he'd brought, all these killing of people, he was the weakest link, and he was like, he had to actually believe in her, as naive as it was, to step on his freaking glass and help him out. Like that was ever going to happen. I knew she was going to kill him. I thought she's not going to push him because she's going to lose that. So I bet this is suicide. Watch. Because she don't give a shit. She knows she ain't getting to the end anyway. Even if all that's going to happen is she's going to jump, she's going to make the next one, and she's going to jump again, she's going to die. So she may as well kill him. May as well. It was brilliant.
100, man.
Amazing.
What about the guy that was a glass maker? And you could see,
the glass. You could see the sample of glass, and they figured him out.
Do you know what's so mad? He only had one more step. He should have
They
just
turned the light off, Matisse. Remember? They turned the light off, so he can't
They
read
figured
it.
out.
Yeah. He should have just guessed though. He only had one more step. Then he ended up getting pushed. 50% chance of survival. We should have just guessed the percentage that he had, and compared to the guy that went at the start, who was jostling for the start. He's like, I want to go first. I want to show what it's like. You know, I want to be that guy that takes command of his own life. And then as soon as he figures out what the game is, he just looks back like, you motherfucker. Oh man, honestly, no, it's such a good film. I love the way that there's no real big name actors, and it just kills it. It's an unbelievable watch.
Do you reckon in real life sometimes these sort of things like
I'd love to do that in real life, without the death part, but I'd love if they built that and
like underworld, dark.
Maybe not like that. Maybe not to that extent, but shit happens. 100% shit happens. Surely.
100%.
Sure.
Let us know if you know anything about it.
Oh my god, I'm trying to think of any other characters before we wrap up that were any other moments, big moments for you guys when you're watching that. I think red light, green light was probably the most entertaining one of them all. I really enjoyed
red light, green light was like a big like, yo, what have we all signed up to? What are we watching?
Mad, yeah, because the
mad intro.
And the thing is, I think it's funny. Which part do you think you're dying on? That would be the last question. Which part? Which game? I think I'm dying red light, green light. People like to pretend like they sign up to a game where they think it's your elimination, like X Factor. You're going home, cool. Pack up your bags and get the hell out. You just saw someone get shot in the head. You're going to move. Yeah. You're not going to. I don't understand how anybody lived through it. That's my bigger question. Literally, you're playing a game. Everybody's joking, laughing, placing bets on who's going to get further. The first person that flinches gets shot in the head.
Yeah, that's nasty.
You're moving. You're flinching. Yeah. You're 100% like, oh, fuck. And then you're dead. Even if it's the smallest reaction, you're going to move.
Yep.
No one's ever watched anybody get shot in the head and doesn't react in any type of way. I don't think anybody can say that in the comments if you've been unfortunate enough to ever see someone die in front of you. There's no way you didn't move. I don't know how anybody lived through that, let alone not, crazy.
I must say that honeycomb one was pretty.
Yeah,
that was
honeycomb
awful.
one is dangerous.
That was awful.
I was dangerous. Like, oh my god, people that got umbrella. Oh my!
People that got London is blue.
But our guy, he did a madness. Started licking it all over the place.
He knew that guy throughout the whole thing was a dickhead because he knew that the triangle was the one to go. Like he was actually a snake the whole time.
He was.
Yeah,
such
he was.
a snake. And it's funny. He could have just said everybody go triangle. Yeah. Why did he say split up? Why?
There's a cash prize. There's a cash prize. It was the money.
Yeah, but he was actually a dickhead throughout the whole thing. Now that I've deeped it, every single stage he does something.
But
dickish.
it also teaches you how he got into that situation in the first place because he was well off and he cost his company and himself like billions and whatnot. And like to get into that situation, you got to be an absolute twat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100.
Madness. Well, we know what everybody's going for Halloween, isn't it, this year with them costumes? So
it's going to be mad. This Halloween might turn into like the Hunger Games outside, I'm not kidding.
I already know.
We might see loads of like red workmen and loads of squid. Yeah, exactly. Loads of soldiers. Oh, mate, it's going to be
those
mad.
Costumes are probably sold out, to be honest, if they were even going for sale.
You know what? I'm gonna get a front man. Yeah. I'm gonna get a front man one. I'm gonna walk in the street and go, I am running these games now.
Boys, if I see a frontman mask during Halloween, I'm running. Like, I don't want to see that in the streets. Like, that was nasty, man. Like full black jacket and whoa, scary. I'm out of here.
As well, just before we split off as well, before we go, just a little quick one because I think it deserves a mention. The occasion and what happened, but also just the person, man. The Tyson Fury Wilder fight.
Yeah, that was impressive.
What a lad, man! Tyson Fury is just what a lad.
Got knocked out a couple of times and then he came back.
He did. He did.
He loves to come back. That man. That is him now. At this point, go a goal down and then it's 2-1. That is his method to madness.
But but what's crazy and why I've highlighted it because. For those that like don't know, go and do a little bit of watching into like his story since he made this comeback.
Oh yeah.
To top it off the way he did the other night, man. I think he is without question now the most inspirational person in sport.
Drug issues, mental health issues,
near suicide.
Yeah.
After being world champion, going back to like the complete low of lows, and now coming back like this, it's mad.
Lost 80 pounds.
Yeah.
What he needs to do is fight Usyk, which is going to be difficult, but I still expect him to win with the size advantage because he's technical and then he's much bigger as well. I think that's the difference where Usyk is very technical. He's literally just tech. He's like Ronaldinho, but physically, then I'd say Fury's like Ronaldo. He's got the tech and he's got the physicality, but that's just to keep people ticking over if they're here for the football. But so that's it in football lingo. But when it comes to Fury, I think he needs to unify that division, take all the belts, lift them all up, get that picture, and then retire. Because there's nothing less for him to do. Maybe fight Joshua if you want. I think you're going to beat Joshua anyway. But fight Usyk, unify the division, maybe defend it with Joshua, whoever's mandatory or whoever's up next. Hopefully Joshua is mandatory just so we see a different fight. Win the belts, unify it, defend it, bounce, retire. Yeah. There's nothing more to do. Like he has said what he's had to say. He is the generation fighter. He is in this division. He is clear right now. Clear. And Usyk, I think Usyk's brilliant. I just think the size difference is probably a bit too much for him to leapfrog. I mean,
Fury
what
is
Fury? 6 foot.
Usyk on steroids, basically.
Yeah. What is Fury? 6'9",
9,
and and Usyk's 6'3". It's a little bit, But yeah, people, big up for watching the show. It's gone into overtime, extra time as we like to call it now. We're going to call it extra time. Fergie time, yeah. But it was necessary.
People will enjoy the extra time. People will actually enjoy the extra time than the Chelsea talk.
I'll put the Squid Game somewhere in the titles for the people that are going to be drawn to that. But yeah, big up to everybody for watching. Make sure you go and subscribe. Miz, bro, any content coming out, let the people know.
Yeah, man, just been focusing on heaps of short videos, man. Around 8 to 10 minutes, just opinions. I don't really have a schedule anymore. That's the beauty. I like it because I just look out for any big news, points. And if I want to say something about it, I'll just say it. And then I think people are getting slowly. I'm seeing it was tough in the first few weeks, but now that I'm doing it more consistently, people are catching on to it, and there's loads of comments. So. Yeah, just all I can say is subscribe, hit the bell notification. You'll know when the video is dropping. So,
and if you don't, because YouTube is shagging, make sure you follow him on socials. And Younes, bro, let them know, bro, any content coming up. Let them know where to go.
Yeah, the usual. Really, international break obviously is round up, but we're still in the week. We've got the preview to Brentford tomorrow, so that's going to be coming out. And then Saturday, back to the watch along. Back to the match review, and then we go again. Chelsea content, Champions League, any bits of other football content as well. Like I did talk about the whole Newcastle thing when that happened. Will be quite regular from now on. So yeah, Younes Talks Football.
There you go, people. Make sure you go and check it out. Make sure you subscribe to the boys. The show doesn't happen without them. Make sure you have subscribed to the menu. All you can eat Chelsea menu. Look at that at the bottom corner of your screen. How could you not subscribe? It's almost a crime if you haven't done so. Smash the likes, leave a comment. I'll be in the live chat for this one. I don't know how long I'll be in the live chat. I guess you will see as you're watching this. But I've got to go to the Football Content Awards today, which I'm looking forward to. And that means there will be no show on Twitch tonight with Flawless at 10. Apologies for that. But obviously, I've got to go to the event. But I will be back on Twitch tomorrow. So yeah, big up to everybody. And I'll see you, man, in a bit. Peace.